for sure, but the reason I invited her here doesn't precisely have to do with like on-field conservation work. Well, of course it does, but Jessie Panazzolo, whom I'm honored to have here as a guest. Hi, Jessie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
So she has made a name for herself, and more importantly, she has made a safe space for any conservationist who needs it in the last 3 years by addressing the issue of mental health in the conservation world. So, Jessie, first of all, let's start by talking a bit about yourself. So, what got you into wildlife conservation, and where and how did you make your way into such a competitive field?
Well, for me, it was a very early story. I actually got handed a stuffed toy gorilla when I was 3 years old. And so by the time I was 5 years old, I was asking my parents how I could save the orangutans and other great apes. So for me, it was like very, very early on in my life. I didn't have any other choice. That's just kind of what I was destined to do. So I basically had my blinkers on and I was working in great ape conservation. That was my goal, that was my dream. So I went to like a environmental based high school that focused on like agriculture and environment. Then I did a biodiversity and conservation degree. I was volunteering from the time I was 16 when it was legally allowed here in Australia. And every time I had a big chunk of holidays at the end of my uni break, I would go overseas to volunteer in Thailand, South Africa. I worked in Madagascar for a bit with lemurs, which I think are like the gateway primate. And eventually I ended up doing my honors degree in North Sumatra in Indonesia on orangutan conservation. So that was like my journey there. But when I got to the forest, I kind of realized that to conserve rainforest and to have this long-lasting impact, I couldn't have that as a white person that was coming to visit or like a Westerner that was coming in and out, because I was seeing how the economy was shifting to have the men who were working on the oil palm plantations. They were then hired to re-establish the forest, and then the wives would help plant the saplings in the nursery with the children. And there was that shift in economy to be more sustainable. There was the shift in behavioral change and knowledge change. And I realized that if I wanted to be a part of long-term change for this ecosystem, I would have to come back to my home country of Australia. And so I guess I had to start my career again from scratch here in Australia, seeing where I could make my mark. And I just unfortunately ended up
Sorry,
in.
Jessie. I'm sorry to it. It seems like I'm having Wi-Fi issues. So we lost you for. I think we. And again, that's because of my connection, not yours. But can you? Oh, God.
Sorry, you just dropped out again.
All right. Can you hear me, Jessie?
I can hear you now. Yep.
I guess. Okay. Yeah, my apologies, everyone. Like my Wi-Fi randomly decided to let me down. So yeah, now it should be back, I think.
Okay, what part did you hear?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I missed the last.
You just dropped out again. Sorry, I couldn't hear any of that.
Yeah, I know. It's never happened before, at least not with my Wi-Fi. So okay, now it should be good. All right. again, my apologies to everybody. I hate when this sort of thing happens. All right, let's try again. So, yeah, you were saying about you work in Indonesia with orangutans and how make an impact as a white person, as a foreigner going in and out. So yeah, after that, I couldn't hear you anymore.
Okay, no worries. So I left Indonesia. I came back to my home country, Australia, to try and make a conservation life for myself. But I had to start again from scratch because I'd been working my whole life to get to saving great apes. So unfortunately, I had a string of really bad conservation jobs for like family businesses. So there was no HR, there was no higher ups that I could go to take any complaints to or anything, and it was just string after string of bad workplaces, and they were all really low pay, really toxic bosses. Until eventually I thought I would find an NGO, I would volunteer there, and I would get myself a paid job within the NGO. So I found one that I liked. I was there every day, 8 hours a day for like 6 months, doing complex report writing and data analysis. And my friend actually sat me down one day and they're like, as long as you're working for free there, they're just never going to pay you. So that's when I created Lonely Conservationist, because I was not going in that office on Monday. I was lying on my couch thinking that my whole future in conservation was over, because I had spent my whole life from the age of 3 trying to make it into the industry. I had degrees, I won awards for my research, I had a great network of people in the industry, and I felt like if I couldn't make it, then what more could I do?
Yeah, so it looks like okay. I lost the connection again. I think I lost the connection again, right?
You didn't disappear for me.
Yep, looks like it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh god. Yeah, so now connection should be back. Hopefully for good. I was way too optimistic.
Is it just today, or is it usually like this?